Alright, and welcome back to Episode 8 of the Alec Frengos Show. This is a sports podcast centered around NBA and NFL, and today we'll be going over NBA free agency that is soon to wrap up. Damian Lillard requests a trade out of Portland, the Toronto Raptors' recent drama, Would You Rather, Scotty Barnes, and which NFL team are you keeping your eye on this year? So we're going to start here. We're going to talk about NBA free agency. We're going to start with, and we're going to go over your favorite signings, your least favorite signings, under the radar move, and who got overpaid. So I'm going to start here with my three favorite signings. And the first one I'm going to go is Russell Westbrook coming back to the LA Clippers on a very cheap deal. Adds point guard depth, and he can maybe even be the starter for them this year. And I think Westbrook's obviously still got it. He's not playing at his obvious prime level, but he can still give you good minutes and numbers from it's off the bench or if he starts with Paul George and Kawhi. And my second one here, I'm going to go with Cam Reddish, veteran minimum to the Lakers. He can still play. He's not a scrub anymore. Well, hasn't been a scrub, and he's just be a good depth guy for the Lakers. And my third favorite signing was Malik Beasley going to the Bucks, actually. Obviously another shooter. When they won the championship a couple years back, they had Wesley Matthews, who played a good role for them. Now getting Malik Beasley, he's a kind of, you could slot him in at the 3 to start, a low-end starter. He could be a good guy off the bench here. That'll just drain threes, be a playoff player for them. And yeah, I thought it was a pretty good signing for the Bucks. Welcome back to the show. What do you have for your favorite signings?
I would say my top 3. I have to agree on Westbrook.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to happen, but for that deal, I wasn't
very
expecting
cheap,
that. It was very
cheap.
My second one, I got Torrey Craig signing with the Bulls. I think the Bulls just kind of are in like an awkward spot right now, and they don't know kind of what's happening.
Yeah.
And haven't really had a lot of depth. And Torrey Craig was doing pretty good on Phoenix, and I think he can kind of just bring a spark to the Bulls.
For Torrey Craig, I was kind of expecting him to go to a contender.
Yeah.
I wasn't like looking at it and like Torrey Craig's going to kind of go to a team that's stuck. I feel like for Phoenix, he contributed well, and I feel like that could have been used on a team that's looking to win now.
Then my last one is Seth Curry signing on Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas last year, once again, just no depth. And I think Seth Curry, because Luka always misses like half the season. So if he misses a lot of games, and Seth Curry can just start, and then just shooter, passer, and do all that stuff.
It's fair. Go ahead, Joey.
All right. So my first one was Kyle Kuzma. I think this is a good move for the Wizards to re-sign him because I think he's a great player.
I think so.
Second one, Georges Niang going to the Cavs. I like that shooting option off the bench for them. And then Herb Jones. He's an RFA, but I think it was really important for the Pelicans to lock him up long term.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I agree with him on Herb Jones. He's a cornerstone to that defense. So securing him on a decent deal, anyone saying overpaid or who he is a casual, he's a great player.
Yeah, he is. He's very good.
Another one I have is the Grant Williams one, recent one. Just brings a lot of energy and some pretty good defense to a Dallas team that was lacking that all season.
Lacking depth.
They brought in Kyrie Irving, and they did have a pretty good offense, but their defense, they were just getting smoked, letting up points like crazy. Had nothing to stop any run. And then one of my other favorite signings, I like the Kuzma deal. He's proven himself in Washington. He's a good player. I think it was a good spot for him to go back because I feel like if he would have maybe jumped to a different team, he might have lost what he has there. So, no, I liked Kuzma a lot.
Yeah, I feel like now Kuzma, the Wizards are building with Kuzma and Jordan Poole, which I think it can work. I think it couldn't work, but for a team that's going to be pretty low and in the lottery for the next couple of years, it's two good players to just kind of fill up space and get you some points. So we're going to go to the next 3 that we obviously didn't like, and a couple people might also have this. I'm going to go Fred VanVleet to the Houston Rockets. Just absolutely overpaid, $34 million a year for a non-starting caliber point guard, and him going to the Rockets also. It's just teams just crowded with depth and young players, right? I don't really get the urge to sign a Fred VanVleet who's looking for the max amount of money he can possibly get. I know the Rockets have to pay people, but I don't totally get the move. And for the price he's worth, I have no idea. They were the one team to give him that max that he was looking for, and I don't know. I just don't like the move at all. Second move here, I got Bruce Brown to the Pacers.
I was gonna say that too.
Like $32 million for a sixth, seventh guy in the rotation. I know he played good in the finals for the Nuggets, but is he really worth
No.
$30+ million? Like, that's just a joke, honestly. And the Pacers obviously need to pay people as well. Halliburton got that huge extension, but $32 million is not it. It's not it at all for Bruce Brown. And my last one, these are 3 overpaid players I honestly had. Jeremy Grant, what are the Trailblazers doing again? I don't know the exact number. I don't know if you have it there, how much he's getting paid a year.
5 by 160, so it's 32 a season.
Yeah, 32.
So he's getting paid the same as Bruce Brown and Fred VanVleet, basically. But, like, I get the market's gone up, but, like, these are the types of players, teams that are desperate to pay players, and they just break the market. And you see all these casual players getting this much money. Like, there's no way you can tell me Jeremy Grant is worth a 5-year max. Like, it's just, the market nowadays is so dumb, and there's just, I don't know, all these players are just jokingly overpaid. It's so stupid. Go ahead, Adam.
Okay, so my first one, I kind of said Houston, just all of their signings.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks.
I think the players, like who they signed, are good, but I think the prices are just way too overpaid. Both
Which
Brooks,
players?
Brooks and Fred. I think both of those were kind of stupid. But second one, Bruce Brown. I got the same reason why. In my last one, I tried to stay away from like a bad price, and I said, and Pat Bev on Philly.
You don't like that?
If I was him, I wouldn't do that, because if James Harden leaves, that team's going to be horrible next year.
Think so?
I think so. And I just don't see him, having like a solid impact on Philly. So I think it's just going to be a waste of the time. I know it's only a year, but I just think it's just a waste of a season.
It's interesting. Go ahead, Joey.
All right, my first one, I have D'Angelo Russell, but there wasn't many point guards in free agency this year, and they don't have many on the roster now.
No.
So I get why they re-signed him, but in the playoffs, he wasn't very good. And
Awful.
on the Houston Rockets, yeah, both those players they signed, they are overpaid. But with what Fred VanVleet's gone through in this league, I think it's good for just Houston. Just
Culture.
yeah, he's faced so much adversity. He's won a championship, and Dylan Brooks, he changes the identity of that team. So
Yeah, he does.
I don't think it's as bad as you guys, but that's all I got.
A lot of locker room problems on that Houston team now.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of young immaturity last year with Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., Jabari Smith, etc. And now adding someone like Dylan Brooks, who's, I don't even know, would you call him immature? You just, like, I don't know what you call him, but Ime Udoka, he's got a good pool of players, and if he can figure it out to reshape in the culture of that team, it's a playoff team in my opinion. I think they're very, very talented, and if they can develop those young guys, it'd be a problem. Go ahead.
We all got Fred VanVleet. We know he's overpaid, but
Yeah.
I think that this is just my thought, is them bringing him in. I think because he's a slow-paced player, like I said before, and I don't know if it's maybe bringing him in to control those. That Jalen Green just want to be a little too electric sometimes. Maybe bring the pace back a little bit.
Yeah.
My second bad signing, I actually have Malik Beasley as a bad
Really?
one. I think going to the Bucks. I mean, when he went to the Lakers, he was just I forgot about him really. I didn't think he did too much to impact anything, even off the bench. And then going to a Bucks, if he's coming off the bench, I think that team is just Giannis. You saw when he went down in the playoffs, they just got crushed by the Heat. I think just adding to that mid bench is just going to stack up without shooters. And then my other least favorite, it's not costly, but I have Dwight Powell. I think the Mavericks bringing back another terrible center. It's like, I would honestly have rather brought back Christian Wood than Dwight Powell. I mean, they didn't really use Christian Wood that
Has
well.
Christian Wood signed anywhere?
I don't think he has.
so. Right?
No, I don't think he has. But Dwight Powell, he's been there for so long. he's a vet on the Mavs, but he's just done nothing his time there. I mean, you could say he's a good defender because he's a big center, but he'll get thrown around by anyone.
Yeah, I saw it come out, and the Mavs were looking him to mentor Derek Lively Jr. So like I feel like they're not looking to get crazy minutes out of him, just kind of be like a guide for Derek Lively, and that's what some guys come in the league to do, right? So we're gonna go with the most underrated signing in your guys' opinion. I can start with you, Joey.
All right, I have an underrated one. I have Dante DiVincenzo going to the Knicks.
Okay.
I really like him coming off the bench for that team. I don't know what the Knicks, how good they'll be next year, but second round team maybe, and hopefully can push them to their championship levels.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to stay on that team. I'm going to say Josh Hart. He signed
Very
an
important.
extension.
So important.
He was like a main factor last year in the playoffs. I know they lost in the second round, but he was like just fighting for rebounds, just hustling. And if he left, I don't know if that team would have had the same, like push and all of that.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
so I think that signing was great for them.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I actually liked an underrated move. I like the Dylan Brooks deal. Money aside, because yes, it was a little much for what he's shown towards the end of the year, but I mean, you can't just disrespect his defense and say he's like a complete bum on defense. Like, he brings the energy. I think the Rockets are going to be a fun team. He just brings that energy. You saw him in the media. He's always putting his name in the media, the headlines. So I think it's a good thing for Houston. I mean, yeah, you could. I don't know what his exact deal was, but I mean, maybe it's a little overpaid.
4 years, $80 million, $20 a year.
So maybe a little overpaid, but I think it's a good fit.
My underrated signing, I'm going to go with Dennis Schroeder to the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a good bridge
like
point
Schroeder.
guard for the Raptors. He brings good intensity on the defensive end. He can shoot the three ball. He can play make at a decent level, and he's one of those scrappy point guards. You can't forget a couple years ago he's offered that max extension to the Lakers, and he turned it down and then screwed himself over. But he can play very high-level basketball, and I think someone like him with obviously he's been in contention with a lot of teams, the Thunder in the bubble, the Lakers last year. I feel like he'll bring a good competitive edge to this team, and he'll help some of the young guys grow, and he'll give you 15, 17 points a game maybe. We don't know his role, what it will be, but I can see him in more of a point guard role. He'll get you a couple steals, he'll play make, and he'll maybe score some points. Especially if Siakam goes, there's got to be someone to fill the stat sheet with points, right?
Yeah.
Fred and Siakam probably are top two scorers last year, so someone's got to come in and get some shots up for this team. And so we're going to go with our most overrated signing, and I'm going to start with you, Ryan.
Top one for me is Jeremy Grant. I think Portland was stunned about the Damian Lillard trade request because it happened after the Jeremy Grant deal.
Yeah.
So I think they were hoping that if they brought back Grant, maybe Lillard would still come back and they'd tell him they'd get more players. But now with Lillard wanting a trade, I think that Jeremy Grant deal is just taking up cap space. It's not a fit anymore because they're getting younger, and Grant, even with Damian Lillard, wasn't making headlines. I have Fred VanVleet here again. Already touched on him a lot, but $43 million for a mid-caliber point guard as of right now, and what team he's going to, can't see it. And then I got LaMelo Ball. I mean, $52 million a season, like, come on. I don't really like that for LaMelo Ball. Yeah, he's a good player, but putting him up towards the top projectile of the league for $52 million a season is, to my eye, a lot of an overpay. Maybe they had money to spend, but I don't know if it'll catch him in the long run, but good for him for getting that money. It's a little scam.
I feel like for these small market teams, you saw the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, $250,000.
Yeah.
Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, $250,000, and LaMelo Ball, Charlotte Hornets, $250,000. I feel like in your first 3-4 seasons, if you can prove you're an all-star, now you're gonna get the locked up max contract, and that's good for the players, but bad for the market because let's see here. Anthony Edwards, I think he will be a superstar in the NBA. I don't think he is yet, but he's showing that potential of being elite. LaMelo Ball, he's been hurt for a lot first 3 years, but he was an all-star the 1 year, and so he's going to get the contract. Tyrese Halliburton had a career year this year, and these small market teams can't lose these players at all. So it's so hard for them to not pay them what the market is, and the market is this super max contract. So it's getting very difficult for these small market teams to keep players because obviously they can't pull them out of free agency. So if you got to hit on your draft picks, you got to lock them up.
Yeah, because I think now with any rookie coming into the league now, they'll look at these and go, okay, I put up better numbers than them through my first 4 years. I deserve this money, and the market is just going to skyrocket continuously. Like if Wembanyama just comes in and puts up electric numbers, that guy might set a record for the highest paid rookie deal, or deal after a rookie contract.
Yeah,
So
if these guys are getting $250,000, he might get half a billion.
It's gonna be crazy. I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest.
Go ahead, Joey.
So if we're going with like overpaid, I'm going to go with
overrated.
Draymond Green. I know you don't like it, Alec, but 4 years is a lot for how old is he?
Oh yeah, that's fine. He's
I don't mind re-signing, but 4 years is a lot for a guy that old. But other than that, I don't have really a problem with that because they're only gonna win with him on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, obviously Draymond Green, he's 33 years old, so it's gonna push him till 37. I think you gotta line that contract up with Curry's term.
Yeah.
3 years left on his contract. So, but I think the number of money, I thought consensus was he was gonna get $30 million a year, which he didn't. Draymond Green got the most value. It looks like because that he was going to test market, but I don't really know if that was true. I think he just knew.
Cheaper.
Yeah. So he obviously was taking the cheaper to go with the Warriors, but hey, if Draymond Green really could have been selfish, he could have got $35 million. Bruce Brown and Jeremy Grant got $32 million. Fred VanVleet got $34. Draymond Green could have got $35 million a year going somewhere else. So thankfully for Warriors fans, he took a cheaper deal to go back and try to contend with them. But I don't know, to say I think the term is obviously 1 year longer because I feel like he'll just be there when they're bad. He might even end up getting traded, obviously, if that Curry contract ends. Go ahead.
So for me, I also have Grant, but I think right now I have overpaid because I don't think the deal makes any sense right now. But I think eventually he could be worth that. I think when he was on what team? Pistons.
Yeah.
He was averaging 20, 25.
I think he was an all-star.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah. He was.
And I think now without Dame, I don't think he's going to be worth it soon. But I think eventually closer to his career ending, I think he could be worth that money. But right now, it's overpaid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. This might come by surprise, but not money term. This has to do with, I think it just has to do with fit. My most overrated signing is Kyrie Irving. I love Kyrie Irving as a player, but it just didn't work in Dallas, and I don't see a reason for him to go back there and try to play. Luka Doncic is the clear-cut number one option, obviously, and he's ball dominant. So if Kyrie Irving wants to get his, it's not going to be 30-plus points per game consistently because Doncic is the number one usage in the NBA. So it's going to be so hard for Kyrie to play like who he really is. He's not an off-ball player. He's a playmaker and he's a scorer. So it just doesn't make sense for me. And I feel like Kyrie Irving in a destination where he could just be a lead guard by himself in the backcourt would be better for the rest of his career. What do you think?
I partially agree with that. I think last year there wasn't really like a chance for them to really do that well with the team that they were, you know what I mean?
Pre-Kyrie, they were the 4th or 6th seed, and then they dropped down to 10, where they obviously tanked a little bit. But I don't know. I just don't think the duo was like, holy crap, this can win championships. That I feel like on paper, it looked better than what was given on the court. What do you think?
Oh, I think now, do
you think this duo can win an NBA Finals?
I think
together?
now with bringing in Jeremy Grant
Williams,
and Thibault, I think because they're defensive players. Like they lost. Like the reason why I think they were pretty weak last year is because in the Kyrie deal, they gave up Dorian Finney-Smith, and he's an underrated defender. And then as soon as he went in that whole deal, they dropped so far to the playoffs. So because they were getting scored on a lot, and now I think bringing in Thibault and Williams, I think it'll help the defense somewhat.
And drafting Derek Lively, obviously.
And then
looking at their starting five projected, you could probably have Luka, Kyrie. You could say Thibault at the small forward, Grant Williams power forward, Derek Lively center, and then you got Dwight Powell, Josh Green off the bench, and
Hardy, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Hardy. He was pretty good.
Because he was
near the
only
end
a
of the
rookie
year.
last year.
Yeah, he was, and so they obviously that's a serviceable 8-man rotation for the playoffs. So I think the Mavericks probably will be better than they were last year. Obviously, a 10th seed with 2 superstars like that, but can they win a championship with that team and that type of style with 2 big
that
guards?
Conference,
It's hard. What do you think, Joey?
I just don't think last year they were given like a chance because did Kyrie even Luka ever even I've never seen a clip with them ever talking or anything. I just didn't think they gelled well at all, but I'm gonna give them a fair chance at next season.
That's fair.
Yeah, sure.
So we're gonna go into the next topic of this video. We're gonna get into here. We're gonna go. Damian Lillard has requested a trade finally from Portland. Finally, he has. So I'm going to get your guys' thoughts and where will he go, and then I want you to give me a trade package here for what Damian Lillard will go for. Go ahead, Adam.
I'm hyped for him because now...
Finally gets a shot.
Yeah, and he's going to be so good, and he's going to average probably 30 again.
Yep.
And I don't know, he wants to play on the Heat, but I don't know if that's going to happen because I don't know if the Heat have pieces for Portland, but I don't know. We'll see how it works out.
So, what do you think? What do you have in the trade? What are you looking for? That the Heat will have to give up?
Probably be Hero. Who else? Probably a bunch of picks.
Definitely picks.
Yeah, a lot of picks.
It will have to be because we're seeing reports here that the Blazers don't want Hero, but I'm not going to fall for that. I feel like he'd have to be the centerpiece if they want to get a deal done.
It has to be a 3-team trade as well, though.
Yeah.
That too. So go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think finally Damian Lillard's gone.
One of your favorite players.
Yeah, he is my favorite player. Portland, I don't want to say they failed him because he was producing well, but they just never really supplied him with anything good after the Aldridge days finished in Portland. They just never really gave him anything to work with.
Yeah.
Did have a little run with C.J. McCollum there, but that didn't cut it without having a pretty good big man.
Yeah, it didn't.
The only destination really extremely rumored is the Heat, which is what he said he wants to go to. Does Portland grant it? I don't think so because if they can't get a third team in the deal, I don't think they'll send him to the Heat because they did say they don't want Tyler Hero because they already have 2 good young guards. They're guard heavy as rookies, young players. Tyler Hero's a great player, yeah, but I just think if Portland wants to worry about them as a young future, I don't think the Heat themselves. I think a 3-team deal for sure because they'll get picks from the Heat. They'll dish Hero off to that third team in the deal, and they'll still gain some young players from that. So I'd just like to see how it unfolds. The Heat, obviously, if they get him, they're
it's crazy
heavy
team.
Eastern favorites.
Yeah, they have to be.
Yeah.
They have to be because Lillard, the main reason of requesting this trade is that he just wants a shot at an NBA title. If you have a above average roster with him, I think that Damian Lillard is capable of winning an NBA championship. He's one of the best playoff performers of all time. This is all time we're talking here. So before you go here, Joey, I'm going to say mine.
All right.
The Heat is obviously a very, very obvious one, but I'm going to do one that's a little off the radar and not as common. I'm going to go the New York Knicks. It might sound weird because of Brunson Lillard, but I think Brunson can play the 2. He played very well beside Doncic. So in this package, I'll have Damian Lillard, obviously, to the Knicks for RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. I know it gives them another guard, the Blazers, that they don't need, but I feel like they're going to need some depth. Quickly obviously comes off the bench. Barrett can be the instant small forward after losing Thibault, the Blazers. So we got Damian Lillard to the Knicks for RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and I think 2 first-round picks. RJ Barrett and Quickly still have some upside to them, so I think that would be a pretty good deal. Blazers get some very good value, and obviously the Knicks, they're still stacked with 3-and-Ds. DiVincenzo they get still. Josh Hart, Quentin Grimes is on the come up. They got a ton of guys where you can give a trade package for Dame, and you won't obviously shoot at your depth. It will shoot at your depth, but not drastically. Right. The Knicks have a lot of young pieces and good pieces too to help contend, and that roster around Dame, I think that can win you an NBA championship, honestly. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say I really think RJ Barrett needs a fresh start. I really think it would be good for him to go to Portland or any other rebuilding team. I think it would be good for his career. But Damian Lillard, yeah, I'm happy he's going to a different team most likely. And with Miami rumored, I guess I'll go with them. And I've seen Brooklyn rumored to be the third team.
I don't know. He said one of his best friends in the NBA is McKellar Bridges. So who knows? I think that roster, it depends though, because you're gonna have to give up a lot of those young guys for Lillard. So I don't know. Post Damian Lillard trade, obviously you won't give up Bridges, but like if you're gonna have to go Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton, and a couple picks, I feel like it's too much.
Worth it.
No, it's not worth it. It's not. But the Brooklyn Nets, before you go here for your Heat package, Bridges and Dame would be a very good combo. I think Bridges gives that elite defense, and then he's proven he can be a second option on the offensive end. So that would be a good duo, but I think it's not worth it because you're going to have to give up a ton of assets for Damian Lillard. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Portland, I think they really, really want Mikal Bridges, but that's not going to happen.
No, it won't.
So, yeah, like you said, it's going to be Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas, Claxton going to Portland, and then a lot of picks, or the Heat will have to give up a lot of picks to get Lillard. The Nets, they just get a lot of picks too.
Yeah, so you could see a 3-team deal here with Damian Lillard ending up on the Heat.
The Heat. Yeah. And then, Hero going to the Nets with a lot of picks. Nice. Too.
Interesting, yeah. So Damian Lillard, there's just so much. This is the one trade where I feel like you kind of have a 90% idea where he's going. Like, it's not like when Kyrie requests a trade, where's he going? Lakers, Clippers, Mavericks, etc. I feel like this is pretty obvious, and the Heat just need to find a way to get Damian Lillard without
giving up way
shooting your whole roster up, because that's happened many times for a superstar. And we're going to get into the most interesting part of this video, the Toronto Raptors drama. Obviously, our favorite teams here at the table. You got the Pascal Siakam jersey on. So it was reported late last night the Toronto Raptors had some dysfunction, obviously, through the years. Nick Nurse has been fired, obviously. And did I think he deserved to get fired?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think he deserved one more year. One down year doesn't deserve. I get he's losing the locker room, but I think obviously losing a couple guys now in free agency, you could try to reshape the culture, but I'm kind of like 60-40, 60 give him another chance, 40 fire him. What do you think? Do you think it was the good move?
To fire him? I don't know. I personally didn't like Nick Nurse. He just seemed like a weird guy. I just didn't really like him. I mean, because now with him underperforming with this, young team, didn't really have much. You could call him Kawhi made, but Kawhi Leonard's just a superstar. He'll make anyone better, and show everyone up, really, no matter what coach it is. But I think it's a fine move. Move on from him. Maybe bring in a European style coach like they have. Maybe they'll bring in a fundamental game that complements everyone that they have now. And I don't know. I like to see where this ends up.
Just a yes or no. Did he deserve to be fired?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so the main part of this, a report came out. Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam were fed up with the younger players. Obviously, the Raptors have a ton of those. So Fred VanVleet obviously signed with the Rockets, which we've been over, and Pascal Siakam. A report came out before the draft that he didn't want to be traded anywhere because he won't sign with them long term. That's why teams have been hesitant to call. But now the calls are picking up, and it looks like Pascal Siakam is going to be traded, which I just want to, before we give a Pascal Siakam trade name and some packages on some destinations, if Pascal Siakam is traded, and I don't think we're obviously going to get a superstar in return of Pascal Siakam, we might get a fringe all-star. Scotty Barnes needs to be an all-star next year. Like, now is the time. Scotty Barnes, he can't be this just defensive guy, 15, 7, and 7. He has to go. This is a number 3 pick, right? 25 points a game. It's a scoring league now. It's easy to average 30 if you're that good. 25 points per game. I want to see 8 rebounds, 9 assists, something in the range of that, higher in the rebounds and assists, and he needs to up his scoring. If Pascal Siakam leaves, our 2 best scorers have left the Toronto Raptors. Who's going to fill in these? And our number 3 pick has to. So, go ahead.
I definitely agree with that, but I don't think he needs to do it next year. I think he has like a few years. I have a feeling that if Siakam gets traded, I feel like the coach is just gonna kind of have like a offense based on like the whole team like kind of playing together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not like they're gonna need someone to score like 30.
They're not
points
going to have a go-to guy on offense. Yeah, obviously they won't.
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes isn't known for that pure shot rating, but he needs to have most of the shots for this team. He needs to do what Mikal Bridges did.
Yep.
Well, he went to a new team, but this is obviously players got shipped off Scotty's team. Mikal Bridges got put onto a new team with nobody. Scotty Barnes just needs to keep taking shots and be a high usage, the highest usage for the Raptors, because we invested a lot in him. Obviously, that bad year in the Tampa Bay Raptors and getting the 3rd overall pick. Fourth, sorry. He needs to step up. What do you think?
Well, with the Siakam, I think I'd love to see the Raptors move on for him because I don't like Siakam. I'll say it out here. I don't like his play style. Yeah, he'll give you buckets. He's an all-star, but I just don't like turning on my TV watching him play.
It's not fun, actually.
I know the Hawks have popped up. I'd love to get DeJounte Murray on the Raptors.
Really?
I'd love it. I mean,
tell me why.
He's got clamps defense. He was an all-star in San Antonio. Maybe the Hawks didn't work out for him. Maybe another change, but I think pairing him up with Scotty Barnes, I mean that's kind of straps. And then
yeah, it is.
And then
it's a very good defensive
if Grady
team.
Dick can walk in and be a splash, like if he can start hitting shots off rip when he gets in there, I think it's good. But the tweet or whatever was with them not getting along with the young guys, I think they were just used to that winning mentality with Kawhi. When they had Norman Powell, they had that roster, Lowry,
Marc Gasol, all veterans. There were no young guys playing around.
Experienced guys. So those like you saw the Kawhi when Norman Powell was jumping around in the tunnel and Kawhi didn't give him the fist pump and just pointed,
said
like
F off,
because they were just locked in and
Yeah.
they're not just used to a young team. A new modern young team where it's like it's just a weirder play style. If you're not coached well, it can get out of hand. So I think them two had private conversations and said, let's get out of here. So I think Pascal could be on the move very soon.
So before you go, obviously you don't want DeJounte Murray on the Raptors. No. Tell me why.
I might sound like an old head for saying this, but just like the videos of him like hitting shots and slapping guys' heads after, and just like I think it's so stupid.
Do you like that?
Do you need right good in Toronto? Like I'm a guy who likes energy brought. Like when Grant Williams brought that
to Jimmy Butler,
he immediately became like a favorite player to me. Like it's just good. I love the energy. I think it brings a team, like it just boosts them. Like if I saw a guy pack a guy and then get right up in his face, I'm on the bench, I'm standing up and I'm screaming. Like I'm getting so into the game.
Okay, but
I want to say, aside from that, like he does all that talking. He averaged 25 in the regular season, and then in the playoffs he averaged 10.
DeJounte Murray averaged 25 in the regular season.
It was like 24.
That's
it was around that.
That's very okay.
But then in the playoffs he averaged 10.
It's because Trey was averaging 30. Like he was.
Yeah, well, Trey's obviously the number one on offense, but if
10?
DeJounte Murray, in San Antonio, he was a lead guard. He wasn't just brought in to complement Trey and be a good defensive player. Like that's what he was brought to be, was to make up for Trae Young's lack of defense. So I feel like him on Toronto, he'd obviously be the lead guard, which would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen him the last 2 years last year, I think, in playing the two shooting guard. So him going back to the point guard like he played in San Antonio, if he came to the Raptors, I'm kind of being persuaded a little bit that I might like this. And this brings a lot of character to this Toronto Raptors team. DeJounte Murray, Grady Dick, obviously, and Scotty Barnes. This is like
a new culture.
It is.
It's a new wave. It makes them more
energetic and kind of like more charismatic for the fans too. Because obviously when they won the championship, they had Kawhi Leonard, the least personality you'll ever see on the basketball court. Kyle Lowry's a fun guy, but like all those guys from when we know the Raptors championship basketball is just old-fashioned and just want to win. So maybe bringing this new culture to the Raptors will brighten up a lot of the fans and hopefully could work on court too. So what's the team you think Pascal Siakam will be traded to?
It's tough because Like I said Hawks just for DeJounte Murray, like in a package and whatnot, but like, do I think it's the chance of it happening is high? No, just because I don't think Siakam will re-sign with the Hawks. That's why teams are skeptical on trading for him, because okay, we'll trade for him, we don't win a championship, he's gone the next year, we lost everything in the trade. So it's like I just because like the Siakam play style, it's kind of weird. So it's like a team ready to go all in for him unless they have a guaranteed championship window.
Yeah.
Yes, but so it's up in the air for me.
I feel like he's kind of a hard player to trade for because he's not a clear-cut one superstar.
And he's not knocking down threes constantly.
He's a number 2 option on a championship team.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, Adam.
It's kind of hard because like you see tweets and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to pick a team when the only team you really hear is like the Hawks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I like the Hawks. So like if we get like
what would you like? Not what you think was gonna happen. What would you like? Like what would you like for Siakam in a package? Yeah, that you'd want on the Raptors for him. That's worth the value.
teams.
I'll let you think. Go ahead. Do you have a package here?
Well, I think they should ship him to Chicago and get DeRozan back. And bring in one of the young guards there, Ayo Dosunmu or Kobe White.
I'd love Kobe White, but they just signed us, so I don't think they'd let him
Yeah,
go. But I
so
love Kobe.
Probably be Ayo.
Yeah. Because they just need a young point guard. They don't really have much guard depth in Toronto. So.
They don't. They don't. But yeah, maybe
But I don't
bringing
think
DeRozan
Chicago
back.
would do that
A
at all.
veteran. Do you have something?
I mean, before, like, a few weeks ago, I was going to say to Portland because I wanted Scoot and Simons. Like, that would have been, but that's not going to happen.
Sucks that didn't happen because they
Yeah.
won't trade him now, obviously. They got him in the Summer League and all this stuff. It would have been a great trade for the Raptors. Pascal Siakam, maybe another player for Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons. It would have been amazing.
Would you do Siakam just for Scoot? 1-for-1?
No.
Would I?
Yeah.
If I was the Raptors?
Yeah.
100%.
Personally,
100%. Yes. Yes.
Personally,
I would.
But I'm just a different type
But
of
just,
basketball
just
fan.
a straight up 1-for-1. No picks. No.
I'd do it. I would do it.
Bro, Siakam was an all NBA player.
Scoot's
I know.
Scoot hasn't played a single game in the
I know.
What
Windmill-
the Raptors need, though. So
Yeah, Scoot's windmilling on a guy's head. Siakam's not. Like,
I don't know, but like from a player perspective, Scoot has upside to be
Oh, no, he does.
a John Morant. Like, it's hard because you got to project it, right? You can't
Yeah.
just say right now would you trade Scoot for Siakam? Obviously, Siakam is the better player in the NBA because Scoot has not played
Yeah.
a day in his life in the NBA. But projecting, Scoot, he can shoot the ball. He's freakishly athletic.
Yeah.
And what do the Raptors need? A lead point guard. Would I trade Scoot Henderson for Siakam? Yes.
based on them having Scotty Barnes and OG now,
OG,
yes, I would.
Pirtle, front
Yeah.
court, it's pretty stacked up. Otto Porter coming back. He could be in one of these trades, actually, for a dump off.
Yeah.
He could. But
Porter.
you would not trade Scoot for Siakam 1-for-1?
If you had some picks, then maybe.
Okay, Scoot in a first-round pick next year for Siakam. Portland
It's
won't
just
be
it's hard
good.
to say because you haven't seen him play a single
Portland
game
won't be
yet.
good, unprotected.
And maybe Simons.
No, okay, that's too much. What do you Scoot for Siakam? Yes or no? 1-for-1.
I wouldn't do it 1-for-1, but if they get like a number 7 pick, projecting what Portland would be,
Yeah.
I think I'd do it.
For sure.
It's interesting. For my destination for Siakam, like obviously I think the Hawks, it looks like it's gonna happen, but like for a return here, what we could realistically get, I'm looking at something like, it's hard. There's so many. I'm looking at maybe the Orlando Magic. They got a couple of good pieces there.
Yeah. Ship them
Orlando Magic, just ship them off. You'd kind of screw them over, but
We probably have to go either Suggs or Cole Anthony.
Suggs,
Either of the two.
maybe Franz Wagner, if
No,
they
I don't
were to
think
trade
Orlando's
him.
doing
They wouldn't
that.
give him up, no.
But like they got a lot of young pieces here. We get some valuable picks for him. Like if we were to screw Siakam over, we'd trade him to a bad team for first round picks that we know are going to be valuable in the next years.
Especially if he has a no trade clause.
Exactly.
Fucking get rid of him.
Portland, Orlando, Charlotte, Washington, Indiana. Like these teams won't be good for a couple years, and if we can get some unprotected picks from them,
Yeah.
we're talking top 10 locked in 100%. So if the Raptors really just cared about their future more than they cared about Pascal Siakam, who's obviously done a lot for the organization and has screwed us over in some games as well. Hey, why not get a top 10 pick next year? But we'll see what happens.
On that Magic note, Raptors, go get Bol.
Yeah?
We need
What do you
Bol
think?
in Toronto.
We already have like a bunch of bigs though.
Yeah.
Got the Slim Duck
You got
and Bol.
So-
the lanky guys.
So, yeah,
Yo.
Raptors. They didn't have a pure center until Jakob Poeltl. They re-signed him, right?
Yeah.
no, but just now you got
Boucher,
Poeltl, you got
Achui.
Achua,
Coloco's there.
Koloko, yeah.
Boucher. That's already 4 bigs.
It'd be
isn't it?
hard.
God, they just need guards that can shoot. That's
Maybe
all
if they
need.
traded Slim Duck in a trade and then signed Bol, who knows? But
Yeah.
they literally need what they drafted Grady Dick for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In his rookie year, he'll just sit corner and spray threes. I just want to see him spray threes every time he gets the ball.
Yeah.
Because we
No
haven't seen that in
hesitation.
Toronto. It's going to
Yeah.
sound crazy since Danny Green.
He wasn't even that like.
He's the
smart.
biggest three-point shooter
Because he
we've
shot
had.
everything.
Yeah.
It was on his hands, off his hands. We need that.
But, like, have the Raptors had a sharpshooter?
I'm trying to think.
Do you know what
wait,
They
and
signed
Matt
that
Thomas.
one. Yeah, that guy that
Okay.
went to Utah.
Matt Thomas.
Luis
Thomas.
Scola?
He's not a sharpshooter.
He's a corner center that just shot, but, like...
He wasn't
Oh,
sparking that,
CJ
though.
Miles?
Oh yeah, he
Patrick
was,
Patterson? Is he
Yeah,
a shooter?
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
But, like,
That
you see
was-
what I mean? The
that
Raptors...
was when I was a kid.
I feel like every team has, like, a insane, just
Yeah.
corner-sitting three-point
Yeah,
shooter.
some scrub that just makes everything.
Yeah. So, staying on the Raptors topic, would you rather Scotty Barnes?
All right.
All right.
This is
Let's
gonna be
go.
hard for
This
me.
is currently...
Yeah.
Obviously, we got
I
the
can't
Scotty
be biased,
bias,
here. I
but...
can't be biased.
Let's go.
First name, Tyrese Maxey. Go ahead.
I'm going Scotty Barnes.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I like both players. I'd go Scotty Barnes.
Maxey is Maxey the better player right now?
Yes.
Yes. Do I think Scotty Barnes is going to be better next year? Yes.
More
I'll go
potential,
Scotty
yeah.
Barnes. Go ahead.
Same thing. I think Maxey has had a better career, and I've seen him do more. But I think Scotty's is going to be better.
So this is would you rather for next year, obviously. So
Yeah.
if these players were obviously better than Scotty, who will be better? Next name, Jalen Green.
Ooh.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Jalen Green for me. I just think he has the upside as well with Scotty Barnes, and he's a very good player.
No, I'm going Scotty Barnes because the guard depth now there, he won't average that as much as Scotty next year now.
Yeah.
But do you think he's the better player?
I think Scotty's proved he's a better player so far through 2 years.
Go ahead.
I'll go Scotty. He's solidified himself as a starter. in
Rookie of the
position
year
he
in that
is.
class,
No,
obviously.
I'm going Scotty.
I'm going Scotty as well. I just think the only thing he's kind of missing is just a jump shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Jalen Green is kind of
Pure score.
he's good, but he just kind of like it's like he's playing at like the Y or something like
Yeah.
that. He just kind of like
It's very
he
true.
screws around, and I'd just rather have Scotty.
But yeah, Jalen Green is a very explosive scorer, though.
Yeah.
Next name, I thought I'd throw this one in here. It's kind of a wild card. Michael Porter Jr. Go ahead.
I'm taking Scotty.
Go ahead.
I'm going Scotty too.
I should say Scotty, no hesitation, but I don't know why I'm thinking Michael Porter Jr. Probably just because he shoots so much and he's just a rebounding wing, basically. But
Yeah.
I think the right decision is Scotty, so I'm going Scotty.
Scotty's obviously going to have more opportunity next year. I'm going to go Scotty Barnes. I don't know, Michael Porter Jr. had that crazy potential, and I don't know if he'll be able to hit it as a number 3
Just
option.
he's hidden there.
Yeah, he is. He is very hidden. That's another player where if he goes to a team and gets a lot of usage,
Yeah.
could be a 30 points per game scorer.
'Cause now the
It
Nuggets-
sounds
I
crazy.
feel like
but
his role right now is just he stands on the 3-point line, then he
Touches
just
his hand,
catches and shoot.
That's what.
And
that's
he can't do
what-
anything
think about
else.
it.
No,
No,
the
he doesn't
Nuggets
shoot
have
it.
adapted to that too, where it's just
If you
touches
pass
his
it to him,
hands,
he's gonna shoot it.
He averaged at one point throughout the year was averaging less than an assist a game. Like that's just as soon as it touches his fingertips, his hands are already ready to shoot.
Yeah. So we're gonna go two spicy ones. Two former holy crap, 2 former number 1 overall picks. Cade Cunningham. Go ahead.
Oh man, I have to think about this one. I'm not gonna lie.
I'd go Cade.
Go ahead.
Damn, I'd go Cade too. I like Cade. He's a great player. Well, actually, I gotta think about going into next season just because that weird shin splint injury that kept him out the whole season. Like I've never seen a shin splint injury before, so I don't know how much it affects a player's return. But if we just eliminate that, I'd go Cade for sure.
Go ahead, Adam.
Scotty.
This is so tough.
Yeah,
Scotty clears on defense. Cade, slightly better playmaker, I think.
Yeah.
Slightly. Scotty can play make at a high level. Rebounding, Scotty. Scoring, Cade. Oh, it's really neck and neck. I'm just trying to project what will Scotty be like on offense next year. And I gotta sadly go Cade Cunningham. Number 1 overall pick for a reason. I think he's generational, Cade Cunningham, but
He was great.
Oklahoma State?
Or
great. Like his rookie year?
Yeah, no, he was great in Detroit.
He was very good. And last name, Paulo Banchero. Go ahead.
I can go. I'll go Scotty. Pretty comfortably, actually.
Really? Why comfortably?
Well, Paulo, it was his first year, but he really cannot shoot the three at all. Like, he can't shoot at all.
It's kind of like Scotty.
I know, but Scotty's better.
Okay.
And he's a better defender, too.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I'll go Scotty. Let's go Scotty.
Yeah, Scotty.
Damn, did you take Scotty all 5?
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm glazing around.
I hate to say this. I'm going to go Paulo Banchero. I just think more complete, well-rounded. I have to go Paulo Banchero. I think he's very special. From when I saw him at Duke play in March Madness last year, I believe, or 2 years ago, he caught my eye because he's someone who doesn't have a weakness to his game. You say three-point shooting. That could get better over the years, obviously, but I think that he's a very good player, and he's one of those. Not a lot of players in the NBA can literally do it all. Mm-hmm. Scotty can too, but we'll see at what type of level. And Paulo Banchero, first year on the Magic with no help, he did everything he could.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into the last part of the show, NFL topic. You got a team for this?
Nope.
Okay, so
I'll thank you.
Which NFL team do you have your eye on here for this upcoming season in about 2 months?
Yeah.
Hopefully it comes up a little bit quicker, but go ahead, Ryan.
I have 3 on my list, but I'm taking the top one.
Okay.
Only one. I'm going the Saints.
Okay.
Just because if you look at their schedule, it's a very easy schedule. Especially you already got. I mean, Derek Carr. As long as he plays average football,
they should win
and
the
the
division.
Saints can stay healthy because Dennis Allen's he's a defensive minded coach. I mean, obviously his offense is very weak, but he was getting held back with quarterbacks a bit.
Yeah.
And you're bringing in an experienced quarterback. So I think with their easy division, I'll just say that easy division.
Yeah.
It's open, easy schedule. That especially if they win the division, they'll get a home game in the playoffs. In New Orleans to win a playoff game, tough. Atmosphere is always there, so they can go on a sneaky little run.
Yeah, that's fair. New Orleans, they could be a dark horse, honestly, to win a playoff game next year because they could, if they play decent, they'll have a cakewalk to the wild card round.
Because I think they only had 2 based off last season. They had 2 tough teams. I know one was the Jags and the other one was, I don't want to say Lions because I don't think it is, but it was only 2 really tough teams that caught my eye. It
is the Lions.
It is? Yeah, okay.
On the same schedule, yeah.
So 2 tough teams. That's it, though, really.
They play the Seahawks?
I don't think so.
Which I don't know.
Okay, Joey, what's one team you've got your eye on?
I've got my eye on the Cleveland Browns because...
Same, I had them. Go ahead.
Just because Deshaun Watson, he's going to get back to his old form.
Yeah,
I really do believe
What do you
him.
think? Watson, old form? Yes, just yes or no?
Not old form, but he's going to be like a
closer to his old form than what he was last year. Yes.
Fair. Go ahead, Joey.
Just because, Deshaun Watson, they have Nick Chubb. He's my best running back in the NFL.
Yep, same.
Top receiving core, or not top, but they really improved it.
Very high.
Great O-line, top 5. And then their D-line, they really improved their run defense. And the only thing they really need is corner depth. But other than that, they got a great team. And I think they'll finish second in the AFC North, ahead of the Ravens.
So I had them, but I'll think of another team here while Adam goes. Something about the Cleveland Browns is that you put all the quarterbacks away. This is a top 3 roster on paper.
Yeah.
O-line elite, running back best in the NFL in my opinion. Receiving core top 12 for sure. Top 12 receiving core. Defense top 10, 100%. Zadarius Smith, Myles Garrett off the edge. If Deshaun Watson can play to a all-pro level, this team can not only win the division, this team can compete with the Bengals and Patrick Mahomes to go to the Super Bowl. And it's obviously a very crazy thing to say now because they didn't even touch the playoffs last year, but they're in the AFC Championship with Baker Mayfield. And what's gotten worse about that roster? Nothing. They've gotten better.
Yeah.
They've gotten better from the roster they had when they were it was the divisional round. They played the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But
and they almost won.
Yeah. And I think the Cleveland Browns, people have them so under the radar right now. They can win this division. And Watson, if he comes back to old form with this receiving core, good O-line, and one of the best runners in the NFL, watch out for the Cleveland Browns. Go ahead, Adam.
If I had to pick a team, I don't know. I'm trying to think here.
How about your Bills?
It's not really a team to sleep on, though.
No, one team that you're just watching.
Just watching.
Yeah. What's one team that intrigues you?
Jets.
Why?
I feel like they're going to be a top team. I feel like they're going to win the AFC East.
You think so? Over your Bills, they're going to win the division and his Dolphins.
Yeah. I don't want to say
Okay.
it, but I think it's going to happen.
Okay. What do you think Rodgers is really going to give them that step then?
I feel like because last year they had Mike White as their quarterback and
Yeah.
solid QB, but I think Aaron Rodgers kind of exceeds that more. And they have an amazing defense, a lot of young players on offense.
Yep.
And now Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be a good team.
So you've got the Browns, you've got the Saints, you've got the Jets, and one team that I'm closely eyeing next year is the Denver Broncos. Why do I say I'm looking at this team? Because they were embarrassing to watch last year. They were.
Yeah.
They've got a very good defense, and that offense was just a mess. The meme around the world, the Denver Broncos. What went right for them last season? Nothing did. Nathaniel Hackett was a failure at head coaching. Was he the reason Russell Wilson was bad? I'm not going to say yes. I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say to be determined because Sean Payton, one of the best offensive minds currently in the NFL, is now working with Russell Wilson. And can he bring the old Russell Wilson we know back? To be determined again. So that's why I'm just watching this team, because if the defense is good, like it always has been, Jerry Jeudy, amazing receiver in my opinion. Cortland Sutton, he's a good number 2. Tim Patrick coming back from the ACL. KJ Hamler, Marvin Mims, 2 deep threats there. Javonte Williams is coming back from an ACL. This is a team of mystery next season. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I think you can't get worse than they did last year. So I think the Denver Broncos ceiling, I'd say the Denver Broncos ceiling next year is make the playoffs. I don't think they're a team that can win a playoff game, in my opinion. I just think that making the playoffs, especially in the stacked AFC East, AFC West, but the AFC conference in general, they're going to have to be second in the division minimum.
Yeah.
To try to make the playoffs. And who knows if they'll even get in with that, because Jets, Dolphins, Bills, obviously 3 in a division, which are all playoff caliber. Bengals, Ravens, Browns,
Jaguars,
because someone has to make playoffs.
Somebody that had an amazing season this year is going to miss out. And the Broncos need to play very good to even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So what do you think of your Broncos?
Well, obviously bringing in a top 5 head coach now and getting rid of the worst coach in the league, you can only get better from there.
Yep.
I think the one worry this season is going to be on the defensive side, just because we lost Ejiro Evero, defensive coordinator. But other than that,
who's it now? Joseph? Vance Joseph,
yeah.
Yeah.
The old Cardinals defensive coordinator.
So one thing about the Broncos, though, they've obviously got that crazy secondary, right? PS2, probably top 2 corner in the league right now, top 3.
Top 1.
It's debatable, very debatable. Sauce Ramsey probably top. I think that's a clear-cut top 3. Sauce Ramsey, PS2. Is that fair to say? And then the pass rush just doesn't appeal to me at all. And can they stop the run very well? No,
it's
they
average.
Can't. It's average. The linebackers are actually pretty good. I think
They're a good duo.
Jewel and Singleton. Yep. But the problem is going to be getting to the quarterback, I think, and getting to these quarterbacks, Mahomes, Herbert, etc. It's going to be very difficult, and the Broncos are just their team to not look out for, just to watch to see what they are next year, because they do need an identity very bad. Anything you want to add?
No, speaking on that division, what the fuck are the Raiders doing? Like, who's their quarterback? Because, like, that's why I'm saying, like, the Broncos could actually have a little run, because the Raiders, like, Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't even know if he's passed his physical yet, so he's
he?
I don't know if he
I don't
has.
even know if he's thrown a ball to a Raiders receiver yet.
So he's up in the air, and if they got to go with Jared Stidham,
he's on the Broncos. Stidham's on the Broncos.
Who's their backup? I'm being serious. Who's their backup quarterback?
Then they're fucked.
Can you search that up? Because I don't know. Because this Jimmy Garoppolo thing, I thought it just blew over and it was just a media thing. But if he's seriously not past his physical and he won't be able to be, because he could be still injured, right?
Yeah. So they're toast.
If they're gonna have to play with a CFL quarterback, and
it's Brian Hoyer, the old Patriots guy.
That's bad. That's very bad.
And then they drafted Aiden O'Connell. He's like going to be a career backup.
But if this happens and Garoppolo isn't the quarterback, I think Garoppolo can honestly get them 6 to 7 wins.
I'd say 6 max they're getting next year.
They've obviously got Devontae. I feel so bad for Devontae Adams. Like, come on.
Because if he gets caught without Garoppolo and it's some bum, I feel like he's requesting a trade game.
He has to.
He won't step
The last couple years of his prime, he has to get out of there. Seriously.
It would suck.
But if that happens, Adams obviously will request a trade, and they have Brian Hoyer as their starting QB.
That's why they...
There's 2 options, and they both end with the same result. Brian Hoyer, and they'll get the number 1 pick, or they sign someone like Colin Kaepernick or Cam Newton, and they get the number 1 pick. So it's if Garoppolo isn't the quarterback there, it's almost shit for the Raiders, but...
Good for the division, bro.
Good for the division.
Yeah. That's... Like, if you play them in a stretch where you need a win, like, and you play them,
it's a free win.
Yeah.
It's really a free win.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's gonna do it with episode 8 of the Alec Frengos Show. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next time.
Right on.